Start.
Sorry, Carolyn, we were having Zoom trouble again. Okay,
There's the request and there's our determination.
okay, thank you. As we don't have any minutes, we will proceed to Oakland Street Conservation Area. Open the hearing, and this is a application to construct a new bridge near the existing crossing to help mitigate the damage to the seasonally wet area. Melissa, do you want to give a little presentation?
Is there somebody entering the room?
Oops. Ah,
That's what that.
Okay.
This is.
My name is Melissa Graves. I work for the town of Wilbraham Conservation Commission Administrator, and also land management. And I work very closely with the Open Space Committee in town in Wilbraham. And they brought to my attention the crossing at the Oakland Street management area, seasonally wet area, little 2x4s, you have to cross this little wet area. And they brought to my attention that maybe we should investigate a better crossing for this area. So last summer, we went out there, took a few pictures, and I was just looking at those pictures today. This picture was taken in July of 2016. I think you guys have a copy of it. Yeah. It's the vegetation is grown,
Yeah, it
and
still looks pretty much the same. I went out there.
yeah. I was out there and I flagged it last week. It was pretty dry in,
But
yeah, it's gone down a
spotty.
bit from the
there was,
photo.
yeah, spotty wet
Everything's dry.
areas. So what we want to do is eliminate this crossing altogether. It tends to block the flow of water, and it tends to be a little slippery, and we want to eliminate this crossing altogether. We're proposing to take the dead tree that's on the right-hand side of the trail and pull that across the trail to block that whole area for people going there. And detouring them around to the other spot where you have the other photo with the blue chair in the background, which
Found
is
it.
still there.
Yeah, I found it. That's how I
Okay.
found it.
And when I was there last week flagging it, the water was very spotty in this area. There was a pool
Oh,
over here.
yeah, I
and a
haven't
pool
seen
over
it that
here.
dry in ages.
Yeah.
It's
I
very,
was
very
able to
dry.
cross myself right there. and
Yeah.
start getting wet.
Yeah, so we're proposing a 12-foot bridge, 32 inches wide with rails on the side because it is a little elevated from the banks for safety purposes. So what we would do is detour the trail users to the left where I flagged it, over this new crossing to the other side, and then on the other side. So block it on both sides. And just let that other area flow naturally, take those boards out of there that block any flow. You know, leaves build up there, sticks build up there, and it really blocks it. So that is what we're doing. I did include with my RDA a plan of the bridge. These folks have built several bridges for us in Wilbraham over several crossings. I'm very confident that this bridge will be an asset to this area.
Do you know what kind of boards, cedar or?
I believe they
Tracks
do pressure treated
Yeah.
on some sort of footing to keep it stable.
Is Charlie doing it?
It would be Jeff Smith and probably, can't remember his name, Mark.
Yeah, they've got an open space committee that
Yeah,
can do
he
this stuff.
does,
So-
he did the bridge for us over on Bennett Road on the Thayer Brook property. They also,
Oh, yeah.
they also did all the bog bridging at the Rice Nature Reserve.
Yep.
So
Okay,
it's,
yeah, that came out.
yeah, it's a whole group of people that really spend a lot of time.
Wilbraham
doing
is
these
very
bridges.
lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. It looks really good out there right now. I was really happy with the regeneration, just a.
Oh, God, yeah, it's,
Yeah, I was
off
noticing
track.
it's turning into a jungle again.
No, it's
Yeah.
gorgeous. I
Yeah.
was noticing that, how much the diversity has increased.
Yeah,
Although there's a lot of invasives at the entrance. I hadn't been in the Oakland Street entrance. There's also like 12 kinds of Carex out there. It's amazing what's growing.
yeah, I was very pleased with the outcome of the forest management plan we did there, just on a side note.
Yeah,
I have a question. How wide is the bridge gonna be?
32 inches.
32,
32 inches? Okay.
Yes,
so it falls
Because-
under.
Almost 3 feet.
Whether anybody knows or not or cares, we get our share of quads and dirt bikes go out there.
that is part of the reason we're keeping it 32
Yeah.
inches.
Okay, yeah.
It also has to be for wetlands approval, it has to be
Right,
under
right.
36 anyway, so.
Yeah. So
So
we are
quads should be
trying
able to fit
to
on it, right?
detour that's why we're blocking the other trail
Yeah.
altogether.
Yeah.
Whether they find another way around it,
Yeah, you
yeah,
can do what
maybe
you
they
can do.
probably will, but
ATV.
we can only do so much.
Yeah,
So, but we're trying to just get people out of that wet area. It was pretty muddy there the other day, even though there's not standing water in the area,
Yeah,
it
it's
was
mud.
still
Still
very
mud.
muddy.
yeah.
And I
Well, the
mean,
mosquitoes aren't bad. The gnats were terrible with
the
the
gnats are
mosquitoes.
terrible.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, the crossing that's there right now is better than the one that was there 2 years ago. where
Yeah, it was just lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, it's still not safe, so. Our goal is to make a safe crossing at this location, it's a heavily used trail, so we wanna just make it safe for everybody.
Yeah, and you need to get the stuff out of there, so if we did have a heavy rain, it
Yeah.
can flow.
Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah, for sure.
exactly, and the new crossing will be high enough to let everything flow underneath.
That's great. Now, I haven't proposed any additional orders unless somebody else has some they want to add. We have, the boilerplate includes all the normal stuff, and they've proposed pretty specific process. So I didn't feel there was a whole lot of need for anything extra. Like you said, these get done all the time, and as long as you're carrying this stuff in and out.
Yep.
Yeah, we've done many of them in Wilbraham.
Ted, you have anything?
No, well, no comment? No, no other additional, no.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion?
They don't know what you wanted, what should be checked.
Oh, okay. I'll pass this around. And
No,
I'm
this-
proposing that we, well, that's for all the numbers and things.
Oh,
Well, actually, that's all on here.
Yeah, on the front page, it says the lot number and all that.
It's probably gonna be less than 500.
oh, you mean for making the motion?
Yeah, for making the motion.
Labor's free.
And it would be positive to, to be, no, I'm in the wrong one. I thought I had sent that. Oh, okay, here it is. -2. The work described in the request is within an area subject to protection under the act, but will not remove, fill, dredge, or alter that area. Therefore, said work does not require the filing of a notice of intent.
Somebody has to make a motion.
Tim, you gotta make a motion.
To,
-2.
no, motion to what?
Motion to,
The motion would be to accept the determination of applicability from the for the town of Wilbraham Conservation Commission, and that you're going to issue a negative determination number 2, and the wording is what, Judy?
the wording is,
That's right.
the work described in the request is within an area subject to protection under the act, but will not remove, fill, dredge, or alter that area. Therefore, said work does not require the filing of a notice of intent.
I'll make the motion to accept it, just as she read it.
I'll second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous.
You guys have a bylaw? Yes,
Yes,
so I was also requesting a determination of, the municipal wetlands bylaw as well.
Well, that would, oh, I can't
go ahead.
tell.
Oh, here it is. The area and/or work described in the request is not subject to review and approval by the Hamden bylaws. Thank you for reminding me.
I just want to cover all the bases.
Yeah, because the bylaw is 25 feet undisturbed, but can't do that.
Oops, I wrote that on the line. Do you know, remember the number?
Oh, gosh. No, I could go down and get it. You want me to quickly run down there?
For the bylaw,
Yeah.
should be positive 5.
I think so.
It is subject to your bylaw, however.
Yeah.
Sorry. I've been doing
No.
this almost 20 years.
Oh,
I
the
know.
citation,
I
the
know.
citation is like 10 something.
Huh?
It's like 10
Yeah, I'll
something
get it.
or other. They ask you for the actual bylaw citation number.
Are you guys done after me?
Yeah, this was like a special meeting, and then oddly, 2 more came in, so we have another special meeting on the 13th.
Oh, my goodness.
Plus our other meetings.
Because of the new rules about 21 days,
That
we're trying to
21
be
days
really
thing is
careful.
I know, sometimes that is an issue for us too, even though we meet twice a month.
Yeah,
regularly,
scheduling's
twice a
fine,
month.
but trying to get it published in time is
Yeah,
really hard.
It was very convenient when the reminder came out on Monday and the times came out on Thursday. Then you could manipulate the meeting as to get your 21 days, but now both come out on Thursday. It's like, oh,
Yes.
really?
Yeah, see, our problem is too, we're all volunteers, we have no professionals. So.
I know.
And no open space committee.
Yeah.
All right, it is us. All right,
No open space, no professionals.
Yeah, we're very fortunate.
is there
to
just
have
one copy to sign?
Staff.
And here,
I said, yes, we're
It's
very
10
fortunate to
point-
have staff.
you're fortunate, yeah.
Judy, it's 10.021A.
I got close. Thought it was 10 too.
there's 5,000 people in this town, and about 10% of them do civic duty, so you got 50 people that do stuff. Oops.
So generally, what you have to do is amend your motion to improve the
Oh, you think we should vote again?
Oh, I'll make a motion to amend for the bylaw.
To,
10.021A.
for a negative determination. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Yeah.
No opposed. Thanks. Okay. All right. Thank you.
We're good?
Are you gonna go down, make her a
I'm gonna
copy?
make a copy and you can walk away with it.
All right.
Okay, and while she's doing that, I just want to remind everybody that we have another meeting on the 13th. We're going to have Mount Vision entrance, and we're going to have 308 Summers restoration. Okay, and I can't write the Mount Vision orders of conditions. Somebody else is going to have to volunteer to do that.
Ted's the co-chair. So I
Ted?
nominate Ted.
What?
Somebody else has to write the Mount Vision orders of conditions. Are you willing to do that?
I did.
I can't because I'm recused.
So that means we should make an effort to get Andrew here,
Yes.
so we don't know.
Yes, and if you have any conditions you think should apply, make sure you bring them. They can be added, there's no rush to have it go out that very day, we can send it.
Is there a description in here of what they're gonna do exactly, other than the pictures and stuff? I haven't gone through everything.
Yes, they're going to, basically, as you well know, there's like a ditch.
Right.
And then once you're down in the ditch, you're supposed to climb this really
Right.
steep slope ever since they made the new part of the road.
Yeah.
To get into it. So what they're gonna do is grade that out so it's a more gradual slope.
Okay.
And they're putting a drain in the ditch,
A culvert.
in a culvert, to
Okay.
help it all go through.
Okay, so,
And I should mention, if there's money left over, we will probably put in a new little kiosk that's a little farther in and a new
sure. Oh,
sign.
nice.
But
nice.
I don't
Okay.
think those required, we decided they didn't require being in the
Yeah,
application because they're just gonna be opposed.
Yeah,
Yeah, a new sign would be nice.
yeah.
Yeah, the sign is really hard to read, so.
Setback.
In fact, what Charlie would really like to do is put a sign on the other side of the road with an arrow, but that would require asking Mr. Bowman, so we'll have to,
Wow.
not sure.
Yeah.
That's not our property
Yeah.
over there. But there will be a new sign and then hopefully a little kiosk, a little ways in where the trail parts, there's a space there that it could still be outside natural heritage, and there could be a little, could have maps and that sort of
So we're
stuff.
doing on 13th Mount Vision at 308 Summer?
Yes.
Thank you. So do you not have these stamped by the clerk's office? Do you not have them stamped in the clerk's office before you give them to me?
No, we never have, ever,
No.
have them stamped.
So they're not posted in a public place?
What, the
No, if they're,
results?
no, they're considered registered when we put them on the site, then they use that as the date of issuance.
I send them off to, the new DEP.
So they don't consider them issued until they get that anyway.
Why wouldn't you have them stamped at the clerk's office so they have a date on them?
Because we have it recorded, we have it in our meeting minutes.
I'm just wondering.
We don't need- No, we never have, ever. She's been here 30 years.
Yeah.
There's plenty of recordings of the meetings,
Oh, yeah,
so.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the date of issuance, in fact, we used to have a difference between our date of issuance and what the DEP had, and the circuit people came down and told us when it's entered in the system, that's when it exists.
In their system.
So it doesn't matter when we mail it, doesn't matter. But when she puts it on the e-site, we know, because then it's that day. So that turns out to be the easiest. Otherwise, we'd mail it, sometimes it'd be 3 days, and so they'd be off.
Yeah,
Off by 3 days.
interesting.
Most of the time when we're meeting, because we're all volunteers and so we're meeting at night,
Yeah.
the office isn't open.
I generally have my stuff stamped the next day. And then,
Different town.
I know.
Yeah.
Volunteers.
Smaller town.
Yeah, it's a very little town compared to Wilbraham. Wilbraham's 7 times bigger.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you, guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be
thanks.
starting construction probably 2 weeks, maybe sometime in July.
Great,
Okay?
thank you.
Check
Thank
it
you.
out.
Thank you.
Okay, the other things I want to mention is planning board voted a new chair, who is Madison Pixley. And
Related to Dana?
I think she's related to Dana, right?
I don't know, I'm assuming it's his daughter, I don't know.
I think so.
I don't know.
And they have a new Hillside Ridgeline person. They have 2 people, Jason Barroso and Christine Broder. So, just so you know, if you have to contact them. I wanted to note, if you decide to go over and look at Mount Vision for yourself, be aware that that entire ditch and that entire front slope is all poison ivy.
Yeah.
And you have to get in a little space to get in, so I would wear long pants and no sandals, because it's definitely, there's no other way to get in that you're able to avoid going through that. And the poison ivy up there is about this big around leaves, so. We are now officially back in charge of Great Horse. They closed out, so they're back under our jurisdiction.
I mean,
Their whole case is closed over, finished with DEP.
oh, really?
Yeah. We got an announcement that the thing was resolved, so to speak.
Hmm.
I kind of think the new guy doesn't like doing this stuff, because when I called down there for information,
That
what we
reminds
got
me,
back was, oh, we no longer have the
that reminds
case.
me about that. You know, I guess it's sort of a runoff ditch next to, or between Great Horse and the school,
Mhm.
right next to the driveway.
Yes,
And sometimes it's water in it. They were cutting trees down right there the other day.
I don't think it's an official
Yeah, that's why I'm
stream,
asking.
but we should check it.
Right.
I think it's literally a culvert.
Does that go back to, what's the other street off of,
It runs along.
Is
It
that
runs
go back
along
to-
the driveway and crosses up into like 170. That's where their brook comes across, I think.
It ends up in the swamp.
yeah,
I'll double check the map when I get home.
Did you ever
The
hear
town
that-
went,
Speaking,
the town did that. They cleared a whole bunch of stuff there like 2 years ago
Mhm.
along that slope of the grass by the driveway of the school against that. But this was Great Horse on their side cutting down a couple.
Yeah,
it
sometimes it's
behind
really hard to
Minnie's
keep
house?
them from doing
No.
stuff.
The other end,
The
the
other
other
end.
side by the school.
Yeah.
speaking of DEP, did you ever hear back if they're watching the solar on Summers?
No, I have not gotten an answer,
Because
so,
they've got the bridge in and
I'm gonna write Tom.
they're going lickety split down there. Pardon?
Where?
We wanted to know if the solar at Borrego Solar over on Potash Hill Lane,
Off of Summers?
Yeah.
bridge is in.
they're doing a lot of
Oh, it's
work over
done.
there.
Yeah.
And officially, they're still under DEP, so we wanted to make sure with all these personnel changes that there's actually somebody still
Yeah,
watching it.
right.
Because that's a really, it's such an eroded site, and it's got
Yeah.
that huge fast stream next to it and everything, so we want to make sure somebody's doing something.
Well, none of the
They're supposed to have
neighbors complained
monitors and
yet, so-
everything.
None of the neighbors have complained about them being on the street at the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, I
One or
think it's
two
more
have
an
on-
issue if they're not got
Oh,
proper
Facebook.
erosion controls and stuff.
The reason I knew the bridge was down, because one or two complained on Facebook about
Oh, did they?
the trucks there.
Oh,
when they
yeah,
were
yeah.
Doing the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But by the time I knew about it and got there, it was done and fenced off and the bridge is in and
Oh.
paved over and they just got a fence in front of it blocking it so you can't drive in it.
yeah, so that's it. Because they got in a lot of trouble for having ATVs in there that were
Yeah.
causing even more erosion, so I think now they're being careful. And you probably all saw the drought announcement. Any observations or measurements that were taken to try and prove a stream is intermittent in May are not valid. Because they declared May on drought.
So does that affect?
Now, I don't think that will affect our 530 Glendale case because it's already been declared intermittent. The question is whether, whether Ty and Bond thinks it's permanent, and that's, if they
Right, right.
bring perennial, and if
Yeah.
it's, if they think it's perennial, that's the other direction, so that's,
Yeah.
you can do that in a drought. Okay, and, because that'd probably be based on stats and soil tests, other kind of things. Okay, and some Concom have tried to go over to completely all electronic filing. And they said, no, you can't have just electronic filing, you still have to have paper. Still have to do paper files as well. So it's just worth keeping in your head. And we'll talk more next time, because we wanted this meeting to be short, about the 21-day timing.
Yeah.
But the critical thing is between the time that Bonnie receives it, that gets stamped, that or Bonnie stamps it, or the office stamps it, or somebody stamps it. From the time it gets stamped to our first meeting cannot exceed 21 days, or it's essentially accepted by fiat, unless we get a waiver that they agree to have the first meeting be on a different date, farther away. So what Bonnie's gonna start doing is figuring that out when they bring them in, and we'll either at that point, if they bring them in physically, or we'll email them a form to send back to us. I don't think there has to be an official actual signature on it. It could be the form, and they could write under it by email, we accept this.
Well, I can make a form, that's not hard.
Yeah, it's just that some people have an easy time signing them and some don't, but I think they can write under it just.
Make an email
fine.
form,
That's an email form.
yeah.
So, we're gonna start doing that regularly. Then, interestingly enough, the part in between the first meeting and any other meetings you have to have, they don't have strict rules about. But then after you make the decision, there's another absolute 21-day time period. So if in either of those cases, they decide to appeal it to DEP and ask DEP for a ruling instead, DEP will consider the application under minimal DEP rules and no municipal rules. So we just don't want to let that happen for all sorts of reasons. So they just made that clear in about 3 court cases that all built up to making this a pretty absolute rule. And in one case, it was a major case. So it's something we got to pay attention to.
And part of the problem, I think, is that you also have to get it posted in the paper, so that when we get a request for determination or NOI, then I call Cindy, who does the posting. The paper, they may have already posted for that week,
Right.
so then they gotta wait and get it posted, then it's gonna be posted for so many days.
Yeah, trying to get it posted in time under those guidelines is going to be difficult. There's just no getting around it. I think if we manage it right, I think what we can do is plan to have both meetings, the first one and the third one, first week and the third week. And then maybe sometimes we won't actually hold the meeting because there won't be anything.
Well,
But,
we sort of did that
um,
already, but
Yeah, but we had kind of been trying to push them onto
Yeah.
one meeting, and that's never gonna work, because the timing just isn't gonna work out right. So just keep that first meeting blocked off, and hopefully we won't have to, this time we got caught in the trap, because we had too many things that came in the day after, a few days right after a meeting, and that's the bad spot. And apparently, across the Commonwealth, some of the larger companies that know what they're doing are purposely timing it to be delivered right after you've just had a meeting, in the hopes that you'll screw it up, and they get a default ruling,
Yeah.
so they will be watching us. Okay, anything else?
anybody, driven by that property on Glendale by Crossroad, they're starting to build their
No, I haven't been up there.
foundations dug.
On the one at the end of Bennett?
Yeah,
I went by Monday, there's a big hole there.
yeah, I saw it yesterday.
See any forms put up there? This was Monday when I saw that.
Did we ever get
No,
confirmation back about
I-
the permanent markers there?
I'll drive by on my way home today.
I was
and see,
just thinking
but
of
this
that.
morning I didn't notice.
'Cause I
anything.
called-
I had
Yeah.
thought they were in and you had thought they weren't, so,
I called, what's his name, his turtle guy. I'll work on it again.
okay.
See.
Yeah, we just make sure that's all in order before they do something we can't stop. Thank you.
There's a guy next to him we really need to go after.
Oh, with all the trucks and
Oh,
stuff?
yeah.
Yeah, the one,
Built another driveway?
yeah, and it looks like he's got a deck almost hanging over the river.
Oh.
I think in the pandemic, people started presuming that nobody was looking
Yeah.
and just started kind of, because we never had so many violations all one
I
on the
know.
other.
Yeah.
You know, we've typically had, you know, one or two tough cases a year that we had to deal with, and all of a sudden we've just had them back to back to back. All right, anything else? All right, make a motion?
I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We have 6:35.
Yes, no?
No,
Oh, the meeting is adjourned.
Who seconded it? Who was
John.
paying attention?
Oh, sorry,
The feedback we were getting before, it's because that was turned around backwards.
Oh, it matters which way they're facing?
Yeah.
Okay,
We done?
You mean because he's the owl?
so the face should be facing him, huh?
No, face should be facing us, like it is right now.
It's facing me. I can see the eyes.
Both of them? Because I can see two eyes here too.
Oh, so maybe it doesn't have a face.
I think he faces whoever's talking.
I've got a little owl
But-
nose and two